Good morning. It's Monday morning here for 40-day homestead challenge. We've taken a couple of days off, a little bit of rest on Mother's Day with family, and then some days off for the weather. We are back at it this morning. We're going to plant some heirloom tomatoes. We're going to move some mulch and get our vines, our watermelons ready to, our watermelon patch ready, and then hopefully get sunflowers in the ground. Come along. Katie's helping out this morning. We're going to load some mulch up in her wheelbarrow and put it over where the sunflowers are going to be. You got it, Katie? All right. When you're starting something new, you have more questions than answers. That's the case with the garden. I'm wondering, were the peppers too small to transplant? Did I transplant the carrots too soon? How much water do I need since the soaker hose can't quite work? How long do I need to water it? Did I plant the corn far enough apart? These are questions. You have to be willing to fail and take a risk so that you can learn and try again next time. We'll see how many of our things truly come up and how many are failures. Never know what you're going to see in a garden. We just caught this little frog. One row of sunflowers in the ground. We'll see how many plants we have towards our second row. Sunflowers that germinated are in the ground. I've got a little mulch around them. I don't know, we'll see how they do. I'm gonna give them some water and we will hopefully watch them grow. Let's see.
All right, so we've been working on our berry plants. We don't want them to produce this year because that would not be good for them to do that, because they'll produce more next year if we don't let them produce it this year. But one little berry snuck in and now it is ripe and ready to be picked. So I'm gonna go pick it. Oh dear. The ants beat me to it. Oh well. I bet the chickens will enjoy it though. Okay, so we picked the strawberry and it had ants all over it. They've already eaten all of that. It looks like someone took a big bite out of it. So we're gonna give it to the chickens. They're going to enjoy this because we don't give them half-eaten strawberries very often. They usually just get the tops. And it's good for them because we can't eat it, and instead of just throwing it in the trash, we're gonna give it to them. All right, ladies. We got a treat! We'll have to fight for it. Like that. Oh dear. Get it, Fluffy.
We've got some kids over here making great use of a trampoline. Hey, what are you guys doing in here?
We're playing.
What are you playing?
Action figures.
Awesome. Is that fun?
Yes.
Is this a cool spot to hang out?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Well, as you can tell, Melinda has been hard at work out here getting sunflower seeds in, sunflower plants rather, and they are looking good. We've devised a little solution to hopefully be able to keep our chickens out. We took some of these stakes, put them in the ground, and then attached some of the netting to it as well. Now what the netting is doing is it's giving the plants still plenty of light, and we can come and water them easily, but it's also keeping the chickens from being able to get in there because these plants are just so tiny right now. And we want to make sure that they can get bigger, and since they're sunflowers, they should get bigger fairly quickly. So hopefully we'll be able to come right back and just take all of this off very soon and then watch our sunflowers grow. So the next project that I'm going to work on is we're going to actually remove the poultry netting. You saw in a video from last week that we've begun, or we actually purchased some of the T-bar, and we're going to begin putting those in today, and then ultimately take out this the poultry netting. Really, we don't need it here anymore if we can get the T-bar in and the black netting to give us protection, taller protection around the entire garden. So let's go ahead and get started with that work now. Well, this is a nice idea, and it may still work, but unfortunately, because we used a lot of the netting to protect the sunflowers, it means that we don't have enough to go all the way around the garden. So we're either going to have to get some additional black netting, we're going to need to leave the poultry fencing in place, or we got to come up with something else. So I don't know, we're going to have to put our heads together and figure it out. So we'll just find a solution. Hey, what are you doing? Get out of there, will you? Well, after putting our heads together and giving it some careful consideration, we have decided that for now, our best course of action is to leave the poultry net in place. One, because it does already go all the way around and it's providing protection. But two, having looked at the netting that we were looking at putting up, that may not wind up being our best solution after all, because it's very easy for critters to get underneath. There's just nothing there holding it. It's not heavy enough. So we may actually wind up looking at, there is some type of landscaping or side of the highway type of fencing that we can get. So we may see if we can get that instead, in which case we could still use the T-bar and put that up, and we'll have everything we need. Well, it's getting late in the day now, and I'm standing here in the middle of our garden. It's funny, I was just looking at some of the video footage from even really just a few weeks ago and just seeing where things were at the time, and it's already come so far. And hopefully it's encouraging to us, and if you're thinking about doing something just like this, hopefully that's encouraging to you. Things do move fairly quickly. There's a lot of work to be done. Some days it feels like you're just sort of slogging through and you're just having a hard time really being able to get some of the work done. But when you see some things like that, boy, it's just really encouraging. So hopefully very soon we'll have the rest of this garden filled up, and we'll have plants just coming up all over. We didn't get to those tomato plants today, so we've put them in the mobile chicken coop, so they'll be nice and protected tonight from the chickens, and then also from any other predators that may want to come along, and we'll see if we can get those in the ground maybe tomorrow. You know, we've said all along here that we are really trying to cultivate real life, and that I'm sure has a lot of different meanings. For us, it just means we're showing you the things that we are really doing, not sugar-coated. We're not trying to hide anything. We're just showing you the successes, the failures. I'm really proud of one thing today, and I look down and I see all of this this produce down here that is now in our compost pile. And you may look at that and say, well, what's the big deal? First of all, why didn't you eat that? Well, you know, sometimes you just have more than what you can actually eat. But the real reason why I'm proud of that is because our kids took initiative today, and they cleaned out our refrigerator of some of the rotting produce. And they know that they can bring it out here and they can put it in this compost pile, and the chickens will come and they'll eat that, and whatever they don't eat, it'll just break down, and that becomes really good, rich compost. Now, the flip side of all of that, and again, we're being real with you here about real life, I'm just having another frustrating time with our lawnmower. I've just got some parts that have broken on it, and you know, this is an older lawnmower. I know that, and I bought it used, and I understood that going in, but boy, it's just really frustrating. So it means that right now I'm sitting here with about 2/3 of our grass cut, and the part that hasn't been cut, boy, it's starting to get really tall, and that's kind of frustrating. But the thing that's more frustrating to me is just that I just haven't been able to get it fixed and get it completely working. So I'm gonna keep at it. We're not gonna give up. Hopefully that will work itself out here very soon. But today we're gonna call it a success. You know, I look right here and I see we've got sunflowers. Melinda came up with this awesome solution to be able to keep the predators out of it and give them room to grow. That's so encouraging. So that's a win. Gosh, there were other things that went on today. Some things we just didn't even show on camera, but you know, every day is just a chance to do just a little bit more. And I'm gonna tell you this one story really quickly, and then I'm gonna wrap things up for today. Melinda came in, I'd gotten home from a meeting that I had. She had been working on planting these sunflowers, and she said to me, she just looked at me and said, you know, I think we're actually going to do it. I think we are actually gonna grow things in our garden. You know, that might not seem like a big deal to you, and especially if you've grown things before, you may feel like, well, you know, so what? You know, I grow things every year. For us, this is a big deal. We've said all along that, you know, we've only grown things in containers up to this point, but now we actually have things that are in the ground, and they're starting to grow and they're starting to take off, and it's so encouraging. Now I realize that there's still a lot of things that could happen. We could have a deer that comes out one night and just wipes out the whole thing, and we're set back tremendously. But it's just that little glimmer of encouragement and hope that's what we were looking for, and it came today, and it's exciting. It's very exciting. Look, thanks again for joining in with us. Again, we're cultivating real life out here with our 40-day Cultivating Real Life Homestead Challenge. Thanks for spending your time with us. If you haven't, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button. When you do, we get notified that we've got a new subscriber, and it's an encouragement to us, but it also is of benefit to you because you get the latest content as soon as we send it out. Thanks again for joining us for day 13, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 14 of the 40-day Homestead Challenge. Have a good evening.